What is up, friends? My name is Laura and this is my dog Thor, and we are here to talk to you about some of the benefits when you're going through grief to have a dog. There's going to be either should you be getting a dog when you're starting grief, or just having your dog and what a benefit that can be while you're going through the grief process. I am on a grief journey. My husband did pass away 3.5 years ago, and on this channel I talk about my life in general, travels, mountaineering, hiking, all of those kind of things. But I also talk about my grief journey, and I know it can be a very lonely road out there for so many people. Not a crazy amount of resources. And if you follow me over on Instagram, and I'll link that below, I do talk about my dog Thor here quite a bit, just because who doesn't love dogs, and he's the little love of my life. So I do get talked about, or people talk about to me, kind of their love for their dog. And a lot of people, they're kind of wondering what they should be doing during grief. And one of the things that I honestly highly recommend is getting a dog. But I'm just going to talk to you about my dog here, Mr. Thor, a little bit in terms of kind of how he's helped me. The first thing is, like, grief can be very lonely. A lot of you might be stumbling upon this channel because you are in a lonely place. I recommend you subscribing to my channel, hopefully, and hopefully that will allow you to not feel quite so lonely as Thor just bobs his little head in and out of the camera here. But it just can be a very lonely place, and as you guys know, a dog is just so loving. There's no judgment there. A lot of times if you cry, they just put their little head on you or their paw on you, and suddenly it can go from feeling like you are very devastated, very sad, and suddenly that there is someone in this world that loves you. Not that no one out there loves you, but I don't know if anyone loves me quite the way Thor loves me. And I'm just going to put him down here. There you go, Bubba. There you go. So that's kind of my first reason. Just makes it not feel so lonely. It's always someone that's there. If you're used to someone coming home and there's someone there, suddenly there is that someone there. It's just your dog. And if you know, even if you leave the house for 30 seconds and you come back, suddenly they're still happy to see you. So that's my first reason. The second one is, a lot of times once you do lose someone during grief and you're kind of going through something, and you're not feeling like going out in the world, you just feel like being in your bed, having a dog does force you to get outside and take them for a walk, which causes you to get out for a walk. And I'm a big advocate of getting outside, getting into nature during your grief process, whether that's going for a hike, whether that's going for a walk, whether that's going for a run, whatever it is, but getting those endorphins flowing, and it'll just honestly make you feel a lot better. So having a dog will force you to do that. So whether you have your dog in the current moment or you're looking to get one, it will help you cause you to get that exercise in that your body does need, and that will actually assist you in your grief moving forward process. The next one is just that they're this happy, loyal little guy. It's like I just said, it doesn't matter even if you went outside for 30 minutes and you come back in and they're so excited. Dogs are just so excited, and they're just loyal to you, and they love you. And during the grief process, it can just feel so overwhelming, and that you're not really sure who to turn to. And suddenly, I deal a lot with anxiety, and you just suddenly don't feel like your feet are on the ground. You don't know what's ahead. And with a dog, it just ends up being a bit of an anchor. I also am an advocate of traveling. In general in your life, go do it. But also, like, I've done a lot of traveling during my grief process, and I will say you want to make sure that when you're getting that dog, it has a good place to go. I'm very, very fortunate that I have had wonderful friends and family members that have been more than happy to look after my dog and do an absolutely amazing job. So for that, also keeping that in mind if you are interested in getting that dog. The last thing that I want to talk about is if your dog was with you during when you had that loved one here, they can just remind you of that person in a very lovely way. A lot of my pictures of my late husband James and I, they're with my dog Thor. He was the ring bearer at our wedding. He wore a little tuxedo. There's just so many times that I've just loved my dog, and I've loved having him in pictures. And for a matter of fact, 5 days after my husband passed away, way, I went and got a tattoo right here on my rib, and it's kind of just this never-ending infinity heart, but it also kind of has strategically his initials placed in. And probably about 6 months after that, I was like, that's not my full family. That is only James and myself because it's on me and stuff. So I went and you put like his paw and get it like basically inked and then put it on. So inside the tattoo, and I won't show you just in case, you know, YouTube doesn't like that, but it's right inside the heart and stuff. And it just, I mean, I don't know if it'll make it sad in 20 years from now, but for me, it's just my little family at the time. And I just love that I was able to get that. So just in general, seeing Thor really does remind me of James, and in a really great way, my little family. If you, a lot of times too, you do need to think that the dog could be grieving that loved one. I've been fortunate, I would say, when I had James's ashes, I think Thor noticed. But for the most part, he's kind of, and he was my dog before he was James and my dog. So I've kind of been fortunate that he kind of just wants to have my back and make sure I'm okay. But I do know in a lot of situations that the dog can definitely be grieving, and you want to kind of research and keep that in mind too. Especially if they were a lot more their dog, or it was just a complete family dog and they're just kind of sad. So I hope these tips do help. I'm a huge advocate of dogs. I love dogs. They're such wonderful little creatures that will help you, keep you less lonely, be a little cuddle buddy if you need it, little shoulder to cry on, and they will love you no matter what. So that's my little rant, guys, about dogs, and I hope you do like it. Make sure you let me know in the comments if you have a dog. Did you experience this during your grief process? If so, let me know your dog's name. I would love to know. That, of course, my dog, it's a little sarcastic name as he is a 25-pound dog, but I love him so much. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Keep living life. Bye.